So today I just wanted to take a quick look at the 2011 film SafeWord. Definitely not really much of a horror or a thriller, but it does have some of those dark elements to it. So quite honestly, it's a boring film. I thought that the subject matter actually could have been better handled. The film actually kind of seems to be not that great at times, but actually not that great a lot of the time, the entire time mostly. But it opens with a scene where a woman is being tortured, or she appears to be tortured. She is disrobed. She manages to get away from the guy, and basically she's just running around in a blouse and panties for the entire film. So she gets out of there. She manages to find some people, and she obviously asks them for a ride. Unbeknownst to her, they pretty much just take her back to the same house that she fled from. So apparently there is a, I guess you could say, somewhat of a, not necessarily an orgy, but it's definitely a fetish-themed party. Everyone has their own thing going on, different sets of dungeons, bedrooms, whatnot. And quite honestly, the release of this film, if I'm remembering correctly, was delayed because they wanted it to compete with 50 Shades of Grey. And even though 50 Shades of Grey is very much a chick flick, very subpar B film, there's no way it can compete or compare, especially when it's masquerading as something that it is not. So obviously it, to a degree, pretends to present itself as a fetish film, and it's really just not. I think it's just making a shameless cash grab. So definitely, yet again, a film in my discard pile for the Fetish Friday discussions that we have. But I still wanted to go ahead and take a look at this because I watched the movie. So, if you want to go ahead and watch it, go ahead and suffer too. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely not that great. The acting's not that great. Very kind of stiff wooden dialogue or delivery. But she's pretty much just taken back to that same house. She manages to get back into that same garage that she escaped from, winds up with that same guy. And he pretty much just kind of puts her on a leash and, takes her on a walk around the house. So yet again, she manages to get away from him. And there's this whole thing where we later discover that he was a sexual predator. Numerous people leave the house, obviously, for their own safety. A few do remain behind because some people hold ill will towards this young woman because apparently they had their own designs for her. But, they definitely really didn't do too much with the twists and turns here. So apparently this party was more of a bait or a trap for the basement guy, because apparently she was posing as a person with a rape fantasy. She had put out an ad. Obviously he answered, and they were to enact that play or that fantasy. But quite honestly, the whole thing was just a trap between her and a set of other, I guess you could say, survivors or victims and their therapist, which is the whole thing that just seems ridiculous. There really is no logic in it. But apparently part of their treatment is they seek the person who harmed them, and then of course they return that harm. So obviously basement guy winds up dying because this guy is the person who actually did rape her. So, I mean, in theory, the idea sounds like it could be interesting. I mean, if it weren't so badly produced, potential-wise, I would have given it a 50-50 split. It has a potential to be good. It has a potential to be really bad. Unfortunately, this movie is so bad, I would just call it dog water. It's really just not that great, but it's definitely one of those films where it at least tries to break the mold, it tries to be different, it tries to present something different. So yes, it did make an attempt at being fearless, being something else, which I can applaud them for that, but the whole execution of the whole film was just very subpar. It definitely could have been a lot better. Definitely not a film that I would recommend. I mean, it does come off as just being very dumb and boring at times, but if you want to take a look, take a look. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought. But yeah, I mean, I honestly was just very bored with the film. I didn't think that that the material was handled as well as it could have been. But that's just me. But that is all I have for you guys today, and I will talk to you later.